Welcome to Focus Today, and it's always fun to have Tim Elbert in the house. We're going to talk about 2,000-pound pumpkins, and no, it's not him.
I'm not wearing my orange shirt
today. No, I was going to say. And mums, we're going to give away this beautiful mum here coming up in a few moments. By the way, he's only going to be with us a half hour, so if you have any questions, get him in right away. 776-5368. Your name will go in the hat. We'll draw a name out coming up here in about 20 minutes or so, and you could win this beautiful mum from the Four Seasons Nursery that's got a lot of color and some great aroma and fragrance to it, and get you happy as you go into the fall. But we had a story on earlier that the big pumpkin winner in Half Moon Bay was a little over 1,700 pounds.
That's a big pumpkin.
They got to baby those things, no question about it.
Absolutely, and you've got to begin from the very beginning. You've got to know that that's what you're trying to do, is get a world-class sized pumpkin. So you've got to start with that in mind. Otherwise, you're going to run into all kinds of problems. But to get a big pumpkin like that, what you need to do first of all is start with genetics. These things don't get this big just an ordinary pumpkin.
So you want the seed out of that pumpkin for next year?
You want the seed out of that pumpkin, yes. The big, you want the mammoth pumpkins, and you can find seed, if not locally, then online for mammoth pumpkins. And you want to start with those or collect your own. And then when you're growing that thing, of course, you want to have deep soil, lots of good soil, good compost, things like that. And then planting that up in plenty of sunshine, giving it lots of water and fertilizer. Now, most of what it's getting, most of what plants get is from the sun. They are creating energy out of sunlight. So, bright sun, that's the most important. Good amount of water. And then you want to remove all the other pumpkins except for one.
Okay, I was going to ask you, so you're going to trim the vine back to one.
Yes.
So you want all the energy going to that one.
Yes. And you want all that going to that one pumpkin. And as that pumpkin begins to grow and get bigger and bigger, a couple of things you have to keep in mind. First of all, you want to get it on something so it's not sitting on the dirt. 2,000 pounds of pumpkin sinking into that nice loose soil that you created for it. Not going to be a fun thing. Second of all, you want to put something underneath that pumpkin, like some straps, so that when it comes time to haul that off to the market.
Well, now, do they roll it? Do you roll it so it doesn't get a flat side? Well, I mean, how do you do that without breaking the stem on?
You can't. And if you see these pumpkins, you'll see they've got a big flat side on them.
They do?
Yeah. Okay. So definitely some way of picking that thing up. If you think about it before it gets too big to carry.
Put the straps underneath it, but maybe put the bubble wrap underneath it.
Yeah.
There you go. Cradle it.
Yep.
Sing to it. Okay. All right. If you got any questions for Tim, call us right now, because he'll only be with us a half hour, and you could win this mum this morning. So if you got some things going on in your yard, he also wants to give us a lawn update. But Peggy, let's take your call first. What's going on with your butterfly bush?
Oh, I just wanted to find out whether I really need to cut down those butterfly bushes for fall and for the spring growth, or can I just leave them like they are? I did cut them down last year, and they grew like to 10 foot tall, but they're rather leggy at the bottom.
Yeah, if you want them to, well, first of all, the answer to your question is no, you don't have to cut them down. However, cutting them down does a couple of things. First of all, it increases branching down low, which makes them thicker at the base. And second of all, the more new growth they have, the more they're going to bloom. So by pruning them back, you stimulate more new growth. And so it's a good idea to prune them back in the fall. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. They'll still grow and bloom.
Okay. And they're like, how do you know, or can you tell me how short to cut them?
Well, you can, I usually tell people, cut them in half or even lower than that. You could actually cut them to a foot above ground, and they'll still come back and produce lots and lots of growth and flowers. So it really doesn't matter how far, but I would say at least halfway.
Okay.
Halfway. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Peggy. Hi, Denise. What's going on with your lettuce patch?
Oh, I was wondering, I was planting some lettuce in some containers, and I was wondering, do they have to be in full sun?
You know, for the winter time, the cooler time, it's best to give them a little extra sun. So full sun is great, but in the summertime, I usually suggest planting your leafy crops where they're going to get a little bit of shade, maybe from the other plants. Right now, I'd say, yeah, get them out there in as much sun as you can. That'll keep that soil warm and keep them producing more and more greens for you, so you can harvest more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. 776-5368 if you want to give Tim a call and get your name in the hat for this beautiful mum. Cheryl, what's going on with your maple tree?
Yeah, the leaves at the top of the tree are just going brown instead of turning a pretty red. At the bottom part of the tree, they're red, but is that indication that the tree's dying, or what's going on?
Not necessarily that the tree is dying. However, there could be some issues with moisture or minerals or things that could be causing some burning on the tips of that foliage. Probably nothing really to worry about this time of year as they're dropping their leaves. But if you're real concerned, or if you start to see some dieback of the branches, bring us a sample and let us take a look at that and see if there might be some problems. Are you watering with well water?
No, just city water.
Yeah, okay, so mostly then it's just probably something that's getting in the soil, but nothing to really worry about.
Okay.
Could it be that it didn't get enough water over the summer?
That could be part of it, but it's doubtful. Usually if they're turning black or dark on the edges of the leaves, that's generally a sign of a mineral, too much of something, high sodium, high boron, high something or rather that's going on there and causing that.
Okay, but they're just brown.
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah, it could. Is it like a light colored brown?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's light colored, that's generally a sign of not enough water. So yeah, it could be just a water issue.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Shauna, what's going on?
Hi, I just have a question. I'm kind of new at fruit trees, and I have planted some. And do I spray those in the fall and the spring for like aphids and stuff, or just in the spring?
Well, I would think that just spring would be all you would need to do, because unless you really have a problem in the fall, because you don't want those insects overwintering over the winter. But if you don't really have any issues right now, then I just wait till spring.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our phone number is 776-5368 if you want to join Tim and have any question and get your name in the hat. Coming up in just a few moments, about 14 minutes from now, we're going to give this beautiful mum away, and this should bloom for quite a while.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing to put on the table, or entryway or something. It's or even as a gift. Yeah, the mums are looking really, really good now. We've got them in all different colors. So this one happens to be yellow, and if you win this one, you can choose. You can have yellow, or you can have orange, or red, or white, or whatever.
There you go. Well, you're just a colorful dude.
Yeah.
Before we take a break, the lawn issue, you were pretty concerned about that.
Yeah, watching as the temperatures and things change, I think it's a really good idea if you're trying to do any reseeding or changing to the lawn. If you haven't done your fall fertilizing, now would be a great time to do it. We're looking at the possibility of maybe some rain coming up next week.
Yeah.
A light possible. So getting some of that down, would be a really good idea.
Now, if you have like spots on your lawns, you just rake it out and then let it go in, or do you put dirt over the top? What do you do here?
We just kind of scratch it up, rake off any of the dead grass, and then just kind of scratch it up with a hard rake, a garden rake, and then throw the seed down, put a little peat moss or compost over the top, just barely covering the seed, and then just water normally, and that grass should come up.
Wow. Okay. So, and you have the seed, various types.
Yes, we do.
And the water warden.
And the water warden, yes.
Now, the water warden, explain that real quick.
The water warden is a three-way blend of turf-type fescues that are extremely drought tolerant, and they have a very deep root system. So in the summertime, you don't have to water nearly as much as you would water your normal lawns. Mm-hmm. We've had cases of once a week in this area, once a month up in the Willamette Valley. That's all it took to keep the lawns green. Yeah. So yeah, it's a very good lawn. It's a little coarser than other grasses, but it is well worth it if you don't have a lot of water.
All right.
Hint, hint.
And hint, hint. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a new lawn. It's called Dead. All right, let's go to Bill. Bill, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much exciting like that, because I never do all the things I used to call about, like pruning trees and things like that. I still haven't done it when I asked you 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I didn't ever want to waste your time. But I do have a question that I have a it's a plant, and when I let my sheep come out, my great idea of eating the lawn, they eat all these beautiful plants. And this is a mystery plant to me. I've never seen other ones, but we had a profuse amount of them. Now they're very scarce. I want to find out if they grow by seeds but I got to find out, first of all, what kind of plant they are. And they grow out of the ground, kind of like a clump type thing. They flower. This is the key thing. Is they flower spring. I'm looking out the window. There are flowers on them now, all the way till it freezes. They're purplish, delicate kind of a flower, and they grow in these long kind of tassel stems. And the branches are kind of like a tuber type branch, that it comes up, and there'll be a few leaves. Every 5-6 inches there'll be a few leaves, and that's where and then all summer long, or all spring and summer, they just keep new little shoots of flowers come on them.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like it is a type of wallflower called bull's mauve. And that's a very common plant, and they will come out in spring. You'll get bloom spring, summer, fall, 3 seasons out of the year. Yeah, they are an amazing plant, fast-growing, easy to grow. A lot of people mistake them for lavender from a distance, but they're very, 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 very easy to grow. Yeah, and we will have tons of them in the spring.
Okay.
Okay, so what about, can I cut those flower heads off and stuff? They grow from like seeds, or do they grow out of tuber or the runners that come up from the ground? Or
I don't believe that the seed is viable, and they really don't spread by runners. So I don't know on that. By cuttings is how they do it in the nurseries.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of thought maybe it was a little bit more challenging, because they're not like this coming all back. The ones I do have are doing great. So we'll get down there in the springtime. And wait, what was the name again?
Ironically, it's wallflower.
Yeah. Yeah. Better known as lamb chops, I think.
They're big. But we've never seen them before, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Bill. All right, hi, Jean. What's going on?
Hi, thank you. Because I've been feeding my basket petunias and geraniums and rock roses all summer, well, now they don't want to die.
Well.
And it's because I want to use those same pots to plant some pansies.
Well, pull them out.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, but they still look nice.
Plant euthanasia is okay. Yeah, you'll still go to heaven. You'll be all right.
But then
they make beautiful compost.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yes.
But also it's a little bit hot. The weather's still a little bit warm, and I'm concerned that the pansies, some of them I see in the stores, they look like they are almost dying because they're out there in the heat. I wondered whether to wait a few more weeks.
Well, you want to get them in the ground before it gets too cold, or else they just won't grow very well.
This would be in pots, excuse me.
Yeah, get them in the pots. Get them in early. Get them in as soon as you can. The earlier you get them in, the more chance they have to grow and fill up those containers before it gets too cold. Once it gets cold, they just kind of stop, and they just don't do much after that. And they'll stay there all winter with their blooms and everything, but they don't put much growth on. So get them in soon. If they're a little on the leggy side, that happens sometimes when it gets really hot. If they start to get a little bit leggy, pinch them back. They'll flush up and grow some more, so they'll be just fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Jean.
I've got to have a funeral for the other one.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah, ashes to ashes, compost to compost,
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, hey, Steve, what's going on with your lawn, man?
Well, my lawn is beautiful, but I have a question. I fight this snow mold in the spring every year. It looks like disaster zone.
Yeah.
Is there anything I need to do this fall to help that, or is that something I just got to put on? I got stuff from you last spring and put it on it, but it was kind of after the stuff starts forming.
Right. You can use the F-stop, the Fertilome F-stop, on the grass in the fall and even in the wintertime as a preventive.
Yeah.
And that works very good. If you put that down now, let's see, it's October, that will that'll give you some good protection through December and January, and then I would put another application on in February just to make sure, and you'll be fine with that.
Yeah, okay. I might try that this year because, like I say, every spring this beautiful lawn I got it looks like it'll never come back. It does, but yeah, I'd like to try to give it a fighting chance, maybe.
Yep, that'll certainly help.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Hey,
You're
thanks,
welcome.
man.
Bye.
So what is the fall fertilizer for the lawn?
Well, we're going to use the Fertilome Classic. That's just our standard fertilizer. And I like to put on also at this time of year some of the soil activator. The soil activator helps to increase winter hardiness on the lawn, so it goes through winter better. And it also helps to break down thatch and dead grass and things. So we like to put that down spring and in the fall to help control that. Now my lawn is 6, 8 years old, somewhere in there. And I have never had to thatch my lawn. And I go through and I check my lawn, and my thatch level is down at a maintenance level, and it stays that way because I put this down twice a year, and it just keeps the thatch level down. So if I don't have to rent a thatcher and run it over my lawn, I'm a happy guy.
Okay.
That's a lot of work.
No question about it. All right, winter vegetables, what are we doing now?
Well, it's getting late on winter vegetables, so if you want to get a veggie garden started, you want to get that in right away. But a lot of greens, the kales, the spinach, chard, those things can go in. If you have a way of protecting it, using a frost cloth, you can do lettuces and things like that as well. So root crops, carrots, radishes, onions, and garlic, all of that could be planted and put in the garden now, and will go up. We'll kind of grow a little bit in the winter, not much, but as the temperatures warm up through the day, you get a little bit of growth here and there. And by spring, you could be harvesting on that stuff. So it's a great time to put that in.
All right, and we are heading into with all the fall colors, and I know pansies, I guess, are very hardy. They'll make it through the winter. Anything else? Mums?
Oh yeah, pansies, kale, mums. Those are the good standbys for wintertime. But also think of foliage color. There's a lot of foliage color right now. There's the coral bells with their dark purple foliage, and a lot of grasses that have some colorful foliage on them that you can put in pots and keep for color or plant in the garden. But also the fall color is starting to come on some of the maples and ash right now.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, we've got in a new maple. We got it in brand new last year. It's called Red Point. And if you're looking for a beautiful red fall colored maple tree, the Red Point is outstanding. It just glows red, and they're just starting to turn now.
You plant that now?
Yeah, you can plant them now.
You can.
Excellent time for tree planting now. They have all of fall, winter, and spring to establish a good root system before summer hits. And that's the hard part on trees is summer when it gets hot and dry. So getting them in and established is a great idea right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So what's it called? Red Point?
Red Point. Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a nice, unique tree. It's got its own website, so you can Google Red Point. It's Red Point with an E at the end.
Okay.
And it is a beautiful maple,
Big?
absolutely beautiful.
Gets
yeah, it gets big. It's a shade tree, 40 feet tall, I think 30 feet wide, and nice sized leaves on, not too big, easy to rake, but they turn this just glowing red. They're outstanding. My favorite in the past has always been October Glory, but Red Point has definitely surpassed.
What about amber trees, liquid ambers? Gum trees, I guess.
Yeah, the liquid ambers are beautiful. You get multiple colors on one tree, which is very nice. The problem that people have with those are those spiny balls that drop, and so I don't sell nearly as many as I used to with those. But people get a little disconcerted when they're walking across their lawn. And
all right, before we let you go, our dogwood has those little balls on it. What's that going on there? Is that the seed pod?
Yeah, the big berries.
Yeah.
The dogwoods will produce a berry, and that berry is kind of a red fleshy berry. Birds like it. It is actually an edible berry, so you can eat it. Although I've not seen dogwood jam in the stores, so I'm not really sure how good it tastes, but it is edible, I know that.
Dogwood berry pie?
Dogwood berry pie.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Peggy, you got another question?
Yes, I do. I have a beautiful coleus out in the yard, and I was just wondering if is it possible to keep it through the winter if I dig it up, put it in a pot, and bring it in?
Absolutely, yes. Coleus makes a great houseplant. Put it in a bright window indoors, bright indirect light, and you might want to prune it back a little bit. It'll flush up with probably some smaller leaves indoors, but they are an outstanding indoor plant.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I hated just to let it die away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Peggy. What should rose lovers be doing right now?
Rose lovers should be just enjoying life right now, because pretty soon it's going to get a little hectic for you. You're going to be getting ready to prune and spray, but we've got another month to go for that yet. So
okay, they're pretty hardy for at least through the first frost or so.
Yeah, definitely they're going to be fine up until we get what we call a killing frost. And that's what drops the leaves off of the trees and kills the tomato vines and the squash plants out in the yard and that kind of a thing.
The killer frost.
So once you get our first killing frost, then you can do some pruning and spraying on the roses.
What's the killing frost? I mean, is that below 30?
It just depends. Killing frost can be at 32, but it just is the length of time that it's freezing. So it could be at 30, but it's just, when you go outside and you find that everything is just totally destroyed from frost, well, then that's the killing frost.
All right, pick a name. We're going to scoot here, and okay. Somebody's going to win a mom, whether it's this one or another color. You can have your pick out there at the beautiful Four Seasons Nursery.
And it was Peggy.
It's Peggy.
Yep.
Well, there you go, yep. Peggy. You're the winner today. We'll get a hold of you, and you can go out to Four Seasons and get a copy or get a pot of this and whatever color you want. Okay. And Four Seasons open from 9 to 5 out on Crater Lake Highway. Go out Highway 62. Get off on Vilas Road, go up, you can't miss it. It's got all the beautiful flowers and things there. Thanks, Tim. Happy birthday, buddy.
Howdy, thank you.
You get anything special today? No, we won't tell. We won't tell anybody. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's like, I'd have to pull your man card if we said that.